Okay, let's get
Get
rolling.
going.
I'm looking for the right button.
Ladies and gentlemen, Movies with Mark.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Very
Morning.
lovely Saturday morning to
It's
you all.
Morning.
So Alabama and Clarence is it the 90s version of Romeo and Juliet? It's just it's the love story for all time. A true romance. Is that what it's called? A true romance. Written by
just
Quentin
true romance.
Tarantino, directed by Mr. Testosterone himself, Tony Scott. He had so much testosterone he had to jump off a bridge to calm himself down. Starring everybody you would ever want in a violent movie. Dennis Hopper, Chris Walken, Brad Pitt is in there, a young and
with like two
very
lines.
stoned Brad Pitt.
Very sad.
Who else?
Gary
Oh,
Oldman.
Jimmy Gandolfini, Mr. Soprano
Gandolfini.
himself is in there.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Christopher
Uh,
Walken is my favorite part.
What?
Christopher Walken is my favorite part.
Yeah, Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper. That scene with the two of them in the movie, the Sicilian scene, the story that Hopper tells, and the way Walken listens to the story, and the Walkens will build up, is the best part of the movie. It's like, and I think it's probably the longest scene. I think Tony Scott knew it. Whoever cut it knew it. That we could hang the whole movie around this scene, and Christian Slater can do all the grinning he wants, and we'll still have a movie.
Well, I wanted to just say I thought Gary Oldman as the dreadlock wearing dope dealer.
Yeah.
What an actor that guy is. He was believable. He really was.
I know. Gary Oldman's phenomenal when he plays
Really
those
is.
kind of opera level characters. In The Professional, when he plays the dirty cop and
Yep.
snorts something in the middle of the hallway and does this incredibly long Baroque take. Gary Oldman's good at that. He's good in Francis Coppola's or Bram Stoker's Dracula. too.
Dracula, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
great
Gary
actor.
Oldman's in it. Who else is in it? Who else that we haven't mentioned that's in
Michael
is in it?
Rappaport.
Rappaport, yeah.
Michael Rappaport is in it. Is Chris Penn
Penn.
in it too? Chris Penn is in it. And
Outside.
Paul Guilfoyle.
Sizemore. Yep.
Didn't Paul Guilfoyle have his own reality TV show because he was so strung out on drugs? He thought, well, I may as well make some money doing this.
Wait,
So he
Val
had them.
Kilmer played the Elvis.
Yep.
What?
Oh, that.
Val Kilmer was the Elvis.
I thought
'cause
the
they
voice
didn't
sounded
sh-
familiar.
Yeah, they didn't show
Oh.
him face on. You would
Yeah.
just see
Yeah.
part of his face.
They didn't even need Val Kilmer, and they didn't show his face.
So I have a question. Did Tarantino have a hand in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Did who?
Tarantino.
I was just asking if Tarantino had a hand in
I
this
think
film.
he
Yeah,
wrote-
Tarantino. He wrote the script and he sold
Okay.
it to Tony Scott.
It's very Tarantino-esque.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's got. And apparently, Tarantino also wrote the script to another film that this is very much like, I think, called Natural Born Killers.
Yes.
I always get this confused with Natural Born Killers. Natural Born Killers is Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis. And Tarantino hates that movie because he sold it to Oliver Stone, and Oliver Stone put Oliver Stone all over it. And Tarantino doesn't like it. Doesn't like the gloss, the stone gloss that he put on it. But the movie really works. Tony Scott makes very, very high energy, high testosterone movies that really work as movies. They're great rides. I mean, that roller coaster ride
That scene was
it's very visceral. I feel, I get it. He gets me onto that roller coaster, and
getting
usually
nervous
people don't.
Was he?
Yeah, I was getting
was
nervous
enjoying it.
watching it.
You get
It
anxious.
felt like I was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going up the hill, and something. Yeah. It's he makes very kinetic, very energetic movies. I don't particularly think. Well, I shouldn't even bring up Nuance again, I guess. I just watched Venom last night, the new Venom movie with my son, and
Is it
which has a
good?
bunch of wonderful actors in it and wonderful moments. Andy Serkis is the director, but I don't know. It doesn't leave you with much to think about. All I'm left to think about when I watch True Romance is how completely fucked up this country is, if that's what this country is.
Yeah.
Or people are. I mean, it doesn't. The movie has very little care for humanity.
Yeah,
I think
my
that
favorite
maybe
characters were Sean Penn and the other
The
dirty.
other-
They weren't dirty
Sizemore, right?
cops,
Tom
but
Sizemore.
yeah, and Tom Sizemore. They were like,
Sizemore. That's it. Not Paul Guilfoyle.
They were like
Tom
a
Sizemore.
fan of the guy, you know, they're listening to him like, I like this guy.
I know.
What he's
well, this
doing.
guy's gonna get killed. We
Yeah.
just promised nothing was gonna happen.
Well, Samuel L. Jackson has what, one line?
Yeah.
they
Samuel
were
Jackson has
throwing
one
that
line and he gets
away.
killed.
He gets
Yeah.
one line. Val Kilmer doesn't even get a headshot.
Yeah.
Right.
So many actors were in this movie.
Everybody's in it.
Yeah,
But you're right. And I'll bet you everybody, or 98% of the people that watch this movie, when they come away from it, what they remember the most is Dennis Hopper and Chris Walken, not alone, because who else? Oh, Guilfoyle, Tony Soprano, Gandolfini
Yeah.
is in that room with him. And
Gandolfini.
he asked that little guy that only talks Italian,
Yeah.
he asked him to leave the room to go do you know what. What is he going out? What is he outside there doing? I don't know. Killing the dog. And then he comes back. But that scene really makes it all worthwhile. It's all
was
worthwhile. It's a
insane.
good ride. It's a good
I
ride.
think as a director, if I had those characters doing a scene like that, I would just be like, we're gonna improv for 3 straight days on set and then go
Just see what
through-
we get.
just see what we get and piece it together.
It's
Just keep 'em
it's
talking.
quite possibly what they did. I mean, it may be that he said to Hopper, "Listen, I want you to tell a story that really squishes his Italian-ness, right, his Sicilian-ness right in his face, rub his face in it, make it up, do anything you want." And Hopper turned loose and went and did it. Apparently, there's a story that Hopper was hurt during that scene because the gun that Walken had that he shot at him and he killed him with misfired or something, and maybe some of the wadding hit Hopper in the head or something. There's a story about Hopper got hurt by the gun.
Huh.
But if you're going to get hurt by anything in a movie, may as well be a Tony Scott movie with a gun.
Yeah.
Lots of guns.
Well, I don't even think they just showed Christopher Walken from that angle, like you're looking up at him. I don't even think that they showed Dennis Hopper getting shot at all.
Well, that's probably why if the gun
Yeah.
misfired and they
yeah.
had something
Right.
else going on, they couldn't use that footage, you
Right.
know, maybe.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
right here. Dennis Hopper he voiced concerns about being injured by the prop gun,
That's what it was.
and it said Hopper was indeed wounded when the gun went off and struck his forehead.
Oh,
All right.
probably why they didn't show it.
But you know what? Back
Yeah.
in those days, real tough guys, they voiced concerned. They didn't sue the
Yeah.
pants for you.
And
Well-
then Hopper's like, we're not doing that scene again.
No
Yeah,
retakes.
this is we've got one take on this scene, and that's probably what they did. Hopper probably was bleeding and had stitches, and they couldn't do another take.
All right.
That's
Good thing you're dead now. We don't have to use
Well, you know, the thing I liked about that
that's
scene.
very much the attitude about when Hopper voiced concern. I can see him voicing concern, and I can see Tony Scott saying, "Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine."
Well, you know, he offered Dennis Hopper at Chesterfield, and he said no, thank you. And then they went on a little more, and then Dennis Hopper, it became pretty obvious what was going to happen to him. So
Oh,
then he
yeah.
said, "Yeah, I'll take that
I'll
Chesterfield."
take the Chesterfield.
Take a couple of drags before he told his little story.
Yeah.
But he did it all so smooth and
Yeah.
calmly with so much like grace. And it was like, man. And then after the whole thing, the note was right on the fridge.
That's right on the fridge. All of that.
He had to have known they were going to find it, but he just was being defiant up until the end anyway.
Yeah, he didn't want to be pushed around. That's that. Yeah.
And then you've got Brad Pitt's character who's not even concerned that there's people with guns looking for his friend,
Gives up
I know.
all
Not
the information.
concerned enough to
instantly.
call him and warn him or anything.
Offered him
Right.
to smoke a
Ask,
bowl.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? And these guys don't look like nice guys. Where'd he go? Oh, we went over there.
He just
Yeah.
went in, and then he gave him directions.
Well, I
Right.
think the bad guys were confused because they were probably looking to torture him, and they're like,
Yeah, he just gave up all the
gave up
information.
everything. Okay.
Offered him to smoke a bowl. Come on, mellow out. Sit down. Put down your guns.
He cocks
man.
the gun. Oh, okay.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
But
that's right. He
real-
wants him to smoke a bowl with him. Yeah.
I liked Christopher Walken's reaction to the story. He
Uh-huh.
laughed.
Oh
He
yeah.
laughed and then he kissed him. He laughed and then kissed him, and it's like, oh shit, that's the kiss of death.
That's
Yeah,
the
he's
kiss
so-
of death. Well, that's everything. I mean, like you said, like the Sizemore part and the Chris Penn part. They're the cops who love Clarence. They listen to him, and they know he's going to die or he's going to go to prison forever or whatever. But they love him. I like this guy. He's funny. Yeah,
This
it's
movie was-
now we haven't explained. Do we need to explain what the movie's about? What's the movie about?
Sure.
anyway?
Go ahead.
Right ahead, Maestro.
Clarence is a guy, a young Elvis lover. He loves Elvis. My good friend Anna Levine tries to pick him up in a bar, tries to get picked up by him in a bar at the very opening, and he talks about Elvis, and all he wants to talk about is Elvis, and she obviously wants to talk about herself or himself or sex or something, and she finally ended up just getting up, walking away from him because he's really boring. All he wants to talk about is Elvis. But then he meets the girl of his dreams, Alabama, who's a hooker.
She's a call
who-
girl.
There's a difference.
Call girl, call
Call
girl.
girl, sorry. Yeah, she would be.
Watch your
crap
mouth.
out
Watch your mouth.
of me. That's right. Sorry about that. Not Rosanna Arquette, her sister, Patricia
Patricia
Arquette,
Arquette.
who's
Mhm.
always really good. Always really good.
Oh my God, I love her to death. I love both the girls, Rosanna and Patricia. They're great.
Yeah. Patricia particularly is always has the needle up into the red zone. She's always in the danger zone. She's always just about to go too far in everything. And this is early. This is early.
too.
Patricia Arquette. She's really.
It was a little tough to watch her take that beating from Gandolfini.
from
I don't know if I
Gandolfini. I know.
He made her do a little twirl, and he goes, "No, the other way," and she turns the other way, and then he just pops her in the face. And the look that he gives when he does it, I'm like,
I
"Oh,
know.
this is bad."
I know. The eyes are rolling the eyes up like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. Yeah, he everything for Tony Soprano is there in that scene.
Yeah.
That we know. But anyway, so Clarence is the Christian Slater part, meets Alabama, falls instantly in love. It's love at first sight. The only thing they don't do is recite a sonnet to each other back and forth the way Romeo and Juliet do. And they're totally in love from the get-go. She loves Elvis. Everything that he loves, she loves. Everything that he loves, whatever, you know what I mean.
Right.
And they could ride off into the sunset together, except Clarence is a little upset, and I use that as an understatement, that she's a call girl and that her pimp, he doesn't even ask for her stuff. He just goes in there expecting that he's going to get into a fight with this pimp. He's not going to give her up. He's not Jimmy Stewart. He goes in knowing that he's going into a dangerous place. He goes in to tell her pimp, Drexel. What's his name? What's Gary Oldman's name?
Drexler?
Something.
Drexel, I think it
Or
is Drexel.
Yeah.
It is Drexel, but there's a last name which works with it too.
Oh.
I can't remember what. Anyway,
I
and to tell and ends up killing everybody, shooting everybody, and taking a suitcase that he thinks is full of her stuff, but it's actually full of cocaine, more cocaine than even John Belushi would have been able to do in a lifetime.
Scarface amount of cocaine.
What?
A Scarface amount of cocaine.
Yes, easily a Scarface amount of cocaine. Exactly. All nicely bagged up. Obviously, this cocaine belongs to somebody. He thinks it belongs to Drexel, and because his mind works the way it marvelously does, he thinks it's his. It doesn't occur to him in a conscious moment, in a stated moment, that somebody might be following. Although he does get out of town very quickly. He goes to visit his father, Dennis Hopper, and borrows a little cash from him because all he has is $1 million worth of cocaine. and he and Alabama set off for California. Where else do you go when you suddenly have a lot of money and you're a hotshot and you're in love? You go to California, the city of dreams, the city of angels.
Or what better
This-
what a better
To
place to
unload
sell
it,
cocaine?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what a better city in Hollywood in the late 80s, 90s to sell a bunch of cocaine.
It
And
was
he contacts
Spivey, by
what?
the way. Drexel
again?
Spivey.
Drexel Spivey was Drexel's last name. Spivey.
Oh, Spidey, that's right, because he's like a spider.
Spivey.
Spivey.
Spivey, I know.
SPIVEY?
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're alluding to spiders there, maybe, but maybe
Huh.
not. He's
Maybe.
just Spivey. Spivey could almost be a word that describes
Yeah.
Gary Oldman in the part.
Good.
He's kind of spivey, don't you think? And maybe it is. Maybe it's become part of the lexicon.
That was a brutal scene too. That fight. That was pretty-
Yeah.
The balls on that guy to go into this place where this guy operates out of
Yeah.
and just give him a blank envelope and insult him to his face and
See,
expect to get out of there alive.
that's where I believe Elvis is the problem in this movie, because his mentor Elvis in the bathroom told him to go do that, and the
Ah.
Drexel Spivey guy didn't really even remember Patricia Arquette at that time. Like, oh yeah, where
Oh, that bitch.
Where
Where
is
is that bitch?
what the hell? Yeah, he could have just left and never
would
had a
have
problem.
Probably not even-
Exactly. He could have and bought her some, well, he maybe get a job and buy her some new clothes. He needed clothes, he needed her stuff. Yeah, the Elvis character is the key to it, because what do we call somebody who hears voices and insists they hear voices? We call them insane. And he's as sweet and nice and in love as he is,
Mhm.
he's mad. I mean, he listens to Elvis, and Elvis tells him to go in. And who is that voice in the head? The voice in our head is always ourselves. But yeah, he's crazy.
There's worse people to listen to than Elvis, though. It made it kind of cool. I liked it. I liked the Elvis part of it. You know, I mean, like, look, if it's Satan, it's not as good.
Yeah, no, it's the key to the whole thing, because you're right. Who goes in? How big do their balls have to be? And he doesn't. Nothing about that character tells you that he's got big balls. All he really wants to do is
Right.
talk about Elvis and be in love with Patricia Arquette, with Alabama.
He
I mean,
seems like
that's
the nerdy, harmless, like
Far from harmless.
would never hurt anyone.
yeah.
He didn't
Why hurt
hesitate.
anybody when you can listen to Elvis with him? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes and he does Rappaport get killed? I can't remember.
No,
No.
that silly fucker walks away, runs down the hallway. It's like, yeah, him and that. It was crazy seeing him get away.
I wonder
Right.
how his casting went, like when he got the part, because he was not a good actor.
And
he
it
always
has-
I
has
mean,
to
it has-
play the
his
same-
character's actor was not a good
He
actor.
plays that same part in just about everything I've seen him in, although I haven't seen him in anything lately. But like,
Yeah.
he is that silly, goofy.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah, I think he's everybody's best friend. That's it. That's his niche. He found his niche, and that's what he does. And it may be who he is too, but we're all more than that. But that's what.
You know, I saw him in an episode of Louis C.K.'s show where he was a cop and he
Yeah.
lost his gun. And I'm gonna tell you what,
Um,
that was a great episode because the
I-
dude became unhinged and he was just kind of obnoxious and just kind of, yeah. If you have an opportunity to see that episode, it's
Yeah,
really
I
good.
remember seeing it. That's I think the only episode or arc of Louis C.K. show that I watched. I saw him in that one for some reason. Yeah, no, he's really, really good at what he does. There's not a huge range there, but he's good at that character, and he can play all levels of emotion. I mean, coming completely unhinged, he can be goofy and run down the hall. He can be really happy about getting a part in T.J. Hooker. But I know it's right. There's an old joke in Hollywood about the agent who comes home. Have you heard this joke? He comes home a little early one afternoon, and he goes into the bedroom to change his clothes, and his wife is in there having sex with an actor or some guy, and he's really going at it. And the agent says, "What are you doing?" And the guy on top of his wife, without missing a beat, it leans over his shoulder and said, "Well, last week I did a Kojak, and next week I'm up for a something." And that's the Michael Rappaport joke, and that's the same thing. Yeah, we're going to go get killed. But I got the part. It's so great. Were you coming? Yeah, sure. And so Clarence in Alabama, because the bad guys represented initially by Chris Walken, and people on the internet say, what happens to Chris Walken in that movie? Chris Walken probably had a day to shoot. He came in and shot that scene, and won the prize for took the brass wing for the best scene in the whole movie, and then went on to do something else, to go back to New York and do a play.
He's not going to go in to get his cocaine back himself. He's got guys to do that.
Yeah, that's right. He can send Gandolfini. What's it going to be to talk to Clarence and get the money from Clarence and the coke from Clarence and to kill Clarence and the girl? Yeah. Gandolfini can do it. He's my right-hand man. So yeah, he doesn't get.
And he got taken down by Alabama.
What?
Gandolfini got taken down by Alabama.
That's right. He gets completely taken down by Alabama and a corkscrew. I love it when he's big there, standing there beating the crap out of her, and she just holds the corkscrew up in front of her face like it was a ray gun, and she could push the trigger and zap him away into something. Yeah. It's just so much fantasy violence.
I thought it was an odd choice that she was showing that she had it and like taunting him with it rather than keeping it hidden and like trying to take him off guard with it.
Well, that's that Tarantino way of building tension and Tony Scott way of building tension. You know, what's going to happen here? It's big guy with fists and a shotgun against a little girl on her knees who's already had the crap beat out of her with a corkscrew, and she's just sitting there
shaking
and stabs him in the foot with it.
Yep.
And then we are into a big fight.
It looked like she was going for his chest, and then
she
took a hard left and went right to the foot.
He wasn't expecting it. He was laughing like, what are you gonna do? Seriously, this is it for you, honey.
Gonna open my bottle of wine.
Yeah, it's it's of its kind, and there are probably too many of its kind. It's really great. Another Tony Scott movie that I think is really great, and at the end of it, I feel like I might want to take a shower, is Man on Fire with Denzel Washington and Dakota Hudson. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
That's
really good movie in Mexico City with Denzel Washington is supposed to protect a little girl. And I mean, it's got all the Hollywood tropes in it. That one does. And this one does too. True romance. And it's perfect Tarantino. Did you not know it was a Tarantino that he wrote it, Molly, when you said?
I did not know.
Yeah.
It showed it right at the beginning.
He was going to apparently he was going to direct it or wanted to direct it, but then he lost interest in it and sold it and took the money and made the money that he got. He got $50,000 for the script and made Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, okay.
Well, that worked out.
Wow, 2 good movies.
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah.
No, it's a very good movie. Where does Clarence fit in that movie? Would Clarence be of a color and be a mist or something?
Probably.
Speaking of Reservoir Dogs, while we're sidetracked a little on Reservoir Dogs, have you all watched Reservation Dogs, the series?
No.
I heard about it. Isn't it about like following Native American?
It's all Native Americans. Yeah. It's all everybody on the cast, crew, writing, directing is all indigenous people of some Tahiti Watiti, that great director, and the New Zealand director, I think, who came out of Flight of the Conchords, who directed Thor Ragnarok. Really good director, really funny. He's the executive producer on it. Excuse me. It's really good, but it's a riff on Reservoir Dogs because it's Reservation Dogs. But that's 4 kids on a reservation in Oklahoma who want to go to Hollywood. They want to go to Hollywood, just like everybody wants to go to Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all still dream of Hollywood? And do you have an Oscar acceptance speech, Tom, already?
I got to take my mom, she said. But I did try hosting the Oscars the one year. They rejected
I remember that.
Yep, they rejected me.
You got to take your mom. What about Molly?
Well, now they don't even need it. They don't even use a host, do they?
No, ever. It was me or none, and they went
And
with
they
none.
went with none. Those were the choices.
Those were the choices they had, and they've never had a host since. I'm the only
Yeah.
guy that applied.
Actually, I hear next year it'll say not hosted by Tom Klein. So everyone knows.
I don't have any interest in Hollywood. I wouldn't be
You
good.
don't really? Did you as a little girl ever?
Come on, Mal. We run Twisted Dreams Film Festival. You got no interest in
You got
Hollywood?
no interest in Hollywood. Come on. Tell the truth.
Like, not for myself.
You're amongst friends, Molly.
I know that I can't act or
Well, but maybe you'd be the mogul. You'd be the Jerry
Sure.
Bruckheimer. You'd be the
the director, because you like to boss people around.
something behind the
big time.
scenes.
you're the only one that knows what's going on in that room.
no argument here.
Holy crap, Mark
Barely.
Metcalf, you guys.
Look.
Did you know Mark Metcalf was here?
Look, barely knows what's going on.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
So let's we've already sort of done it, but let's go around the horn, as they say. Are you watching baseball at all? Are you excited about the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yes, of course.
I have no clue. I can't watch an inning of baseball.
I'm also excited about the Yankees too. So I'm hopeful.
Oh,
for
you
that.
are.
I'm a Yankees fan and a
Oh.
Brewers fan.
Do they have the first wild card spot locked up
Right
yet?
now, as of right now, but they're playing Tampa Bay. They lost last night, and both
Right.
Boston and Toronto won. They're still in the number one spot, but a lot can happen this weekend.
Yeah,
That's what makes
yeah,
it exciting.
yeah.
Milwaukee's already locked things up, so they're good to go.
Who's already locked it up?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee
won
has.
the
Yeah,
division.
no, I know. Milwaukee's
Have
they're
you
good to go.
been-
They can.
Have you been to the stadium, the newer one?
Yes, I have. I've been there and I've
Wonderful.
heard them try to close the roof.
Okay.
Have you heard them? Have you been there when they tried to close the roof ever?
Yes. Yes.
It's a horrifying noise.
It is kind of
you,
loud.
you said tried to. It doesn't close all the way.
It doesn't. Well, it's just really, really noisy.
Noise.
And apparently, what they decided they had to do, because they didn't. From what I read, they couldn't fix it or didn't know how to fix it, so they just closed the roof before anybody gets there, so nobody has to listen to this noise.
I
Why don't
think a
they throw
little.
guy with a WD-40
Yeah,
can?
a big can of WD-40. That's all.
Yeah,
you
and
need.
some crazy guy to go hang up there and spray it in all the joints. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Are you volunteering?
You put
No.
WD-40 in water.
Molly will fix it.
I'll do
You
Yeah,
it.
we're up there.
launch them up there.
I
Well,
have
you
no
know,
fear.
I got to a few weeks ago through work, go and sit in a luxury box to watch a Brewers game, and whoa, that's the way to go. That
The
is
luxury box.
way to go. Yeah. And so they
Right.
brought food in and whatever we wanted to drink. And we got to sit in this special little section and watch it. And they had screens inside. Oh, it was beautiful. I mean,
Well-
I could never afford that myself, but thankfully my job provided us that opportunity to thank us for coming in and working through the pandemic. And I think that was great.
But you end up watching the game on TV because you can't see the game.
No, we were very close. I did a little of both. When I went
Really?
inside to get food, I watched it on the TV. And then when you go outside, it's a lot more fun. And we were going against, I want to say people from who we play? I think it might have been St. Louis. And a bunch of those
Louis.
people were
We
walking
whooped
by.
your ass. We whooped your ass. We took 4 in a row from you guys. And we took
Well-
6 out of the last 7 games we played you.
What position did you play?
What position?
Yeah.
I was Dylan Carlson sometimes,
Huh?
but most of the time I was Tommy Edmonds or Harrison Bader, the center
No,
field.
maybe it might have been Cincinnati. I don't remember. I was so, I had a few drinks. I wasn't driving, so it was fun.
Right. And the game wasn't important to you. It was the food.
No, and hanging with friends from work in
Right.
a different atmosphere, and it was fun because like some of the big brass came up there, and I never really talked to them before, and I was feeling kind of loose, and I was just riffing, and they were laughing. Yeah, this is good. And then my boss is kind of giving me a dirty look, like chill out. No, man, I'm not chilling out.
It's a nice stadium. I like this stadium. I saw a lot of games in that stadium before I left there. Walked
So
around.
you a
it.
St. Louis fan then?
Who is what?
Are you a St. Louis fan?
I'm a St. Louis fan. I was born raised up in St. Louis, and I caught a home run off of Stan Musial's bat, a batting
Okay.
practice home run.
So if
you're too
Milwaukee,
young to know who Stan Musial is.
oh, I'm not.
I've
Good.
heard of him.
Stan the
What?
Man? Are you kidding me?
Stan the Man. That's right. And
Well,
my
listen.
brother remembers my mom and dad took us to eat dinner at Musial and Biggie's, which was Stan the Man's restaurant in downtown St. Louis. And Stan came to our table and signed a menu, and my mother threw the menu out or
Oh,
something.
geez.
I don't know what she did with it. We
Listen.
don't know where it is.
If we play against you, if Milwaukee and St. Louis play, we got to put a little bet in.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. Oh, we will.
Buy us lunch at Libby Montana's, and then we'll have Aaron come get you and take you to lunch somewhere in wherever it is you live. Portland.
Right. And okay, I'll buy you dinner at Libby, Montana. Fish
That's
fry.
great.
Fish fry.
Fish fry. We have
Um,
to eat what you say. Look, you gotta eat fish. You go, I'll buy you dinner, but
No,
you
no.
gotta have the fish fry.
I'm gonna have a soup and milk this.
No,
like,
he's saying the fish fry is good.
I know
The
that
fish fry,
doesn't
it's really a good fish fry.
I know,
I've
but
never
that
had
means
their
you
fish
gotta
fry.
go out on a Friday then, right? Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Because we know we're gonna win this one. If they
You
play
do.
on-
Did you know you were going to lose all four straight to St. Louis
you know
a week
what?
ago?
You know what? Yeah, you know what we were doing is sandbagging. We're getting y'all's confidence up where y'all think y'all gonna win this.
Oh,
We know what we're doing. We already have things locked up.
This
We know
movie
what we're
review
doing.
has turned into a baseball debate.
It is. So let's go around and
all right. Yeah, let's go around the horn and give it. And let's start with William because
Okay,
he's the prettiest today.
I loved it. Look, the beating up of Patricia Arquette was kind of, oof. And let me just say that there's something about that girl that just drives me crazy. Like, look, she's not what you would call classically beautiful, but the package itself is just, I love it. When she did that thing where she was playing, like she put on weight to play that woman that helped those people escape from prison. What was the name of that?
It's the name of the prison. Is it
Name of the prison.
Deer
What-
Lodge or something like that? I don't know.
Whatever the name of the prison. So, and they said like she like made herself heavier. I was like, she looks great to me. I don't know what it is about her. Heavy, thin. She's boom. She does something for me. But anyway, I don't like seeing her get beat up like that. So I'm going to give it a 4.75. I have to take a little bit off for that abuse of my beautiful queen, Patricia Arquette. But I love that movie so much. And when I had talked to them and they said they had never seen it, I'm like, we have to do this because will be one of your top 10 movies. That was my opinion because it's one of my top 10 movies. I could watch it once a month. I love it.
Yeah, apparently. Yes, I got that part. Yeah.
So there we go. That's mine.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, good. No quibbles with that. I understand. I understand loving it. Okay, Tom, you go.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay.
The only part I didn't like was the instant fall in love with a call girl.
That was your sticking point.
What if
Well-
that call girl is Patricia Arquette, man?
But you can believe her. She just lied to you. Now you got to believe that you're only her.
That's his
third.
character.
It
He's
was
just
only her
kinda
fourth day on
unlovable.
the job.
Yeah.
yeah, it was only her third customer.
How
Don't
do
you
you
believe that?
Like, no, I don't believe that. She really defended the word call girl,
And the way
which
she
meant,
dropped that popcorn, it's like, who wastes good popcorn like that?
but you know what? They could have started the movie without that whole scene, and the movie would have been the same.
Well, you got to show how they meet, though.
No, they could have just showed up as a couple in love.
It wouldn't have been the same without
No,
that.
it wouldn't have been.
No,
the
you
same.
got to show. It's Hollywood. You got to show
moment.
the meet cute. It's called the meet cute, with him looking at her and her catching him looking at her and looking and him being the shy guy who only wants to talk about Elvis, looking away, and her saying, "Well,
Two
okay,"
movies.
and dropping popcorn on him, and then climbing over thighs first over the
Yeah.
back of the seat to sit next to him, and yeah.
Well, showing how they had just met and gotten married right away, but then they stuck together through all of the craziness that unfolded. I think that was a part of the movie that,
She kissed his dad a little too.
well, yeah.
Oh, she kissed his
Tastes
dad a
like-
little too. Yeah, he thought so too, didn't he?
She tastes like peaches.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Molly, I don't want my dad ever to taste you.
Yeah. Son of a bitch, he was right. She does taste like peaches.
Would you resent your dad if he even lusted in his heart a little bit after Molly?
Well, it was Patricia Arquette's fault. His dad didn't do nothing. She's
Well,
Right.
he's asking you about you and Molly and your dad.
yeah, that would I'd be like, how you want me to feel, Dad? What's that? What am I
Well,
supposed to
you
do?
are staying under his roof, his rules.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be moving in with us soon, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What's up?
Oh, just he's about to retire.
So they're gonna give up their house
Well,
and
they-
move into the haunted house?
Let's
Yeah. We'll get on
move
track.
on.
That sounds great. Though. That
Wow.
sounds like fun.
Mao, go ahead.
God, this movie is a roller coaster ride. It is
Yeah.
packed full of like just all sorts of crazy one thing after another. But it did have several just parts that stood out that were like, oh, that's really funny, or that was really good, or I really enjoyed that dialogue between Walken and Hopper.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot that was just like, it was very chaotic and like kind of crazy all over the place. And like, this would never ever happen like in real life. Like
Oh,
this.
That's why
course
it's a
not.
movie.
That's why, yeah.
That's why we're watching.
like
it.
that scene for them, everybody to die but them. Come on.
where you're just sitting there looking at the screen going, come on. Like
You give yourself over to the
that would never
entertainment.
happen. They would
Yeah, it
never
doesn't
do
have
that.
to.
We'll
You-
see.
you
Okay,
watch a-
Corral, Mao.
You
Come on.
watch a lot of fantasy shit that would never happen.
Yeah,
and you
but-
enjoy that.
Yeah, but that is like with the basis of this is not real.
Well, did you really think that was real?
And
when that-
I think if I can interject, I think some of what Molly's dealing with is the fact that I really do think that there is an emptiness or a nihilism at the heart of this movie. It's really well put together. They're
Mhm.
fun performances to watch. Somebody can get shot in the head and it's almost funny sometimes. Stabbed with a corkscrew in the foot, and it's funny and it's a good beating. She takes a good beating. So your queen takes a good beating, and in this life you got to take a good beating. But this life, the universe of the movie, is not a place I want to live or anybody wants to live. It's a fantasy universe, but not putting aside that it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy of death and violence. I mean, when I said early on that it doesn't surprise me at all that Tony Scott just took a dive off a bridge, that intolerance of life, that disregard, the disrespect for life, that you take in your hands when you're a relative young man and a father, and you jump off a bridge to end it all, whatever your problems are, is part of the fabric of this movie. So that's what I think Molly's dealing with, and I deal with it too. I mean, I laugh. I think it's funny. The scene between, even though I know from the beginning what's going to happen, as soon as it's Walken, as soon as he looks at Dennis Hopper, you know Hopper's going to die. He almost tells you he's going to die at the beginning, and Hopper takes a little while to believe it, but he finally does, and he takes the Chesterfield. But it's got those wonderful Tarantino things to it, like a Chesterfield. He asked him for who smokes Chesterfields, and they're unfiltered
make them
Chesterfields.
anymore? Are
Huh?
those unfiltered cigarettes?
Yeah,
Do they make them anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. They may have. This is made in 1993. They may have still made them then, or maybe
know-
he just saved a bunch. My
know-
dad smoked unfiltered Chesterfield Kings all his
Tom
life.
rolls his own cigarettes.
Yep.
And he
Tom
smokes a
does?
filter. Yes, he does. They're
No kidding. Good.
yeah.
What do you use? What's your tobacco? Bugle?
American.
America. American because America.
It's got a big eagle on the bag.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen that stuff.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Brings
And the
me-
smoke comes out of your ass red, white, and blue, right?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, work on that, Tom, for next time, okay?
That'd be a good
I
trick.
think I'd give the movie a 4. I mean, it was
You'll
good.
give it a 4. Okay, so we've
Yeah.
gone from 4.75 to 4.5
4.
to 4.
Yeah,
Molly, I cut you off, but is there anything more you want to say about it?
I don't think so. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go down to 3.75. As much as I really like it, as much as I appreciate the cinematics of it, as much as I really like the performances and sort of get excited by the performances, and like, just the way he builds the roller coaster ride, like we talked about, it's really good. You're really involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene on the elevator, that's a roller coaster ride where he grabs Bronson Pinchot and puts the gun to his head.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, Jesus. And then he
Yeah.
just wanted the cops to break in and save him.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't realize that something really was up when he was like asking someone that wasn't there to help him.
Right,
Like,
right.
Well, it's like you said earlier something about the unreality of the movie. It's like what's the classic Halloween movie? Maybe it's Halloween itself, where everybody in the audience is saying, "Don't open the door to the closet! Don't
Right.
open the door to the
Don't
closet!
go in there.
Don't go in there! We all know it. You should know." And you open the door to the closet. To be in a movie like this, you have to be a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, the characters have to be a little bit of an idiot. Bronson Pinchot has to have his, I don't know,
Yeah.
way out in front of his mind when
So
he
the
makes a decision.
unfiltered Chesterfield stopped in 2018, but now there are 3 filter flavors:
Okay.
red,
Okay.
blues, and green.
So it didn't stop
blue,
until
green,
they
and
made
white.
unfiltered until 2018. No kidding.
Yep, full flavor lights and menthol.
Well, you can always cut the filter off if you want to kick it old
Right,
school, you
right.
know.
So my old
Cut
man,
it off. We've just break it off, twist it off,
Yeah,
Break it off, right.
bite it off and
Right.
swallow it.
eat the tobacco. Okay, so I'll give it a 3.75. So we go down the ladder more because of that. Because I do care, and maybe it's just now, maybe it's because of Donald Trump. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I do care more. Or maybe it's climate change. I don't know. I care about the morality of a movie. I care about what the movie thinks about humanity. I care about whether I don't want movies with. I mean, it has a happy ending, right? They're on a beach somewhere in Mexico, and they suddenly magically have a baby,
A little
Yeah.
boy named
Yeah.
Elvis.
a little boy named Elvis. Yeah, and they haven't aged a bit. The movie hasn't gone through time. They just bing, the Immaculate Conception. They have Elvis, the Jesus baby.
And she's talking at the end. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say she's talking at the end and narrating like kind of what happened.
Yeah,
Like, and I don't think I would have named him Elvis if Clarence would have died. I'm like, he wouldn't be there if he had died. Like, not I wouldn't have named him Elvis. He wouldn't be there.
He should be escorting again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. We'll have another sequel to this movie called The Marriage Story, The Marriage Romance.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what their life was like together.
Okay,
Yeah,
what
so
are you doing for next
I can't I can't wholeheartedly endorse it because I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish we weren't who we are. I wish we weren't. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's just it makes me sad that is a great movie to a lot of Americans, and it is. When there's movies like Grand Illusion or Rules of the Game out there that have a different feeling about humanity. Rules of the Game doesn't have anything good to say about the elite, the upper classes, but it does have something to say about humanity, about positive to say about human beings. And I'm not sure where the glimmer of hope is in that movie, except that we can laugh maniacally as the roller coaster train goes off the tracks and 100 people die in having a great time.
True love and happy endings.
True
can exist.
romance.
Yeah.
True
True
romance. That's right. No, it's Tarantino, and it is. You're right. I mean, Molly picked it out of thin air that it was Tarantino because it is, and his influence And Reservoir Dogs is a wonderful movie to watch, and so is Pulp Fiction. It's a wonderful movie to watch, and
Yeah.
so is Inglorious Bastards, and so is Django, and so is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But
Yeah.
every time at the end of one of those movies, I think maybe I just haven't got the guts. I don't have, I don't want to go into that world too much. But the idea of arming yourself to make the world a better place is crazy.
That's what Iron Man did.
Right. Yeah, and it worked for him. Well, that's the thing. In American movies, that's what works. American movies, American-made movies, Hollywood-made movies are there to sell guns. That's what they do. How many people ran out after they saw this movie to buy a nickel-plated 38 police special like the one that what's his name, Clarence carries around? I don't think it's a 38 actually. I think it's bigger than that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it didn't make me want to go out and buy one.
I would
No,
prefer to carry a hatchet, but you can't walk around with a hatchet these days. I do have one in my house. If someone comes in my house, I'm gonna chop them the fuck up. I'm telling you that. It's close to my bed too. So if they come in there, I'm coming out of the darkness with a hatchet.
He sleeps with it under
I've
his
had
pillow.
that.
I do.
nightmare.
I sleep with it.
Sometimes
I
he
do.
wakes up with hatchet face.
Hey, hatchet face.
I was going to say you should get one of those masks next to your bed and put one of those hatchet face masks over your head,
Scare the
and
hell
then
out of
grab it, and the guy will have a heart attack and run away.
Probably. That's a deterrent.
Yeah, I have an axe handle by my front door, and every time I look at it, I think if there's a home invasion, somebody tries to come in here, I'm going and getting that. But at the same time, I say that I know that I'd probably be dead from 1,000 knife wounds.
Or maybe they see it when they come through the front door and say, "Hey, axe handle," and then just beat the hell out of you with it while you're sleeping.
Yeah, that's right. They beat me with my axe.
I got a better idea,
Wow,
Mark.
Why are we going so morbid?
You need to keep a light, like a big light, and just have your silhouette shadow so the bad guys can see that you have the axe. That'll freak them out.
And they'll run screaming from the room.
Yeah.
There are ads for these
That's what we're getting
flashlights, called a tack light, that's so bright that it'll blind an intruder.
Yeah.
Turn the light on and hit them in the eyes with it.
Face myself and accidentally blind myself.
Yeah, like me and the mace in that girl's car. I told you. Did I tell you that story about when I maced myself?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I was riding around with my own version of Patricia Arquette of Alabama in Hollywood. She convertible. I can't even remember her name. And so I picked her up somewhere. She picked me up, maybe hitchhiking, and we in Studio City. We went on Radford. She had to pick up a script, so she drove her convertible. I was in the passenger seat. I waited outside. She was going in to pick up a script at a casting director's office, and on the seat between us there was a Colt 45, a long barrel 45, a really interesting looking gun. I didn't think it was really a gun because it was a little too light, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and I picked it up and I pointed the barrel at myself, and it looked like a squirt gun at the end. And I thought, oh good, I'll take a little drink of water. So I pulled the trigger, but it ends up it's mace.
Oh, and mace is the bad stuff.
I know. And I'm just like this far away from myself. So she comes out, this girl, this really exciting girl that I thought I had the next couple of days all mapped out, me naked, sweating in a bed somewhere, and with her. And she comes out, and I'm crying on the front seat,
Crying
of her,
and snotting all over the
Wow.
front seat.
with
Nose
mace in my
running.
eyes, trying to figure out what to. And then when I explained to her what I did, she thinks I'm a real idiot. Now she knows I'm a real idiot, and she pushes me out of the car and drives off, and I never see her again.
Oh, wow.
See
You
that?
know, the moral to the story: never point a gun in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Right.
lucky you didn't find
Even
her
if it's
real
a squirt gun.
No, never point a gun at people.
I know, and especially not
You don't know
yourself.
what's in that gun.
I
That's
know.
kind of clever, though. I mean, just it's not a real gun, but it's got the intimidation. But if that doesn't work, you got the mace in it.
I honestly think it was
Interesting.
just a test. She wanted to find out if you were that big an idiot, you failed. She
Yeah.
pushed you out of the car.
He may be pretty, but he's a little too dumb. Yeah,
What's
He
maybe.
pointed at his face and pulled the trigger. What is wrong with this guy?
So what's the next movie?
That's a good question. You guys got to choose that one. Do I get to choose this
Yeah.
one?
Sure.
All right.
Well, what
After
is
this-
the
this
two
is
that
so
you
exciting.
mentioned that you said were good?
Say
you
that
were
again?
talking about, the two movies that you mentioned, would you want to choose one of those when you were
Oh,
giving
Grand
your
Illusion or Rules of the Game?
rules of the game? Yeah.
Yeah, let's
What do you
watch Rules of the Game. Rules of the Game, I think, is a richer, deeper. Grand Illusion is a great movie and should be on people's 100. But Rules of the Game, there's more social commentary in there. There's more. Let's watch Rules of the Game. Yeah.
How old is that movie? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Rules of the Game is made by Jean Renoir, the son of Auguste Renoir, the Impressionist painting, who you may or may not be aware of. And Jean Renoir is considered by many, many people to be one of the great filmmakers of all time. It's about a rich family in the country who has a big party, and there's a great, like the Walken Hopper scene in this is a great scene, sort of centerpiece scene in that, where all these people and their dogs and the peasants who go out into the woods and drive the birds out of the bush for them, so the rich people don't have to get their boots too dirty. And they shoot bird after bird after bird, bang, 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 bang. It's a celebration of guns. But there's irony. There's deliberate, open, clear-eyed irony, and things fall apart between the upper classes and the lower classes in this movie. And it's a movie that that nothing happens. It's like Chekhov. Nothing happens except the world falls apart and a new world starts again. But it's very naturalistic, very realistic. Jean Renoir plays a part in it. I can't remember the name of the character he plays, but he's very funny, big guy, funny guy. It's a really good movie. You have to read it. It's in French. I know. Sorry, William. Do you have a friend that reads really well?
No, it's fine. I find
This
I don't
counts
mi-
as my summer reading.
I find that I don't mind it at all, because once you
No.
just start, you're kind of into it. I mean, it really doesn't. If there's a part where I'm reading and I'm missing what's going on, I can always back it up a little bit.
You
and
can
watch.
back up and look again. Yeah, exactly.
What year was this made?
I don't know. Look it up. Somebody look
Rules
it up.
of the
I'll look
Game?
it up. Rules of the Game. No, not Rules of the Game. Yeah, Rules of the Game.
39.
1939.
39. Okay, so it was a long time ago,
So
right?
it's a black and white.
It's black and white. Yeah. Now we don't have to watch. I
And
know
you have
I've
to
made you watch a lot of those movies.
No, that's fine. Molly loves it.
It's black and white, and you have to read. Come on, Maestro. What are you doing?
I know it's so much to ask.
It's
Wait,
French.
why don't you guys
It's
watch?
French.
You guys watch 5 Tom and Jerry cartoons, and Molly and I'll watch Rules of the Game. And
No,
you
there's
can talk about.
actually a Tom and Jerry movie that we can watch.
There's a Tom and Jerry movie.
There's a Tom and Jerry
Yeah,
movie. I
there
saw it on
is.
HBO. I was like, Tom and Jerry got a movie out?
Wait, you watched it?
No, I didn't. I was
Oh.
like, it's for kids, right?
They made a Scooby Doo movie too.
Yeah, a few of them, I think.
Yeah.
Several of them, yeah, with a big
like
cast.
Tom and-
Let's watch Paths of Glory.
No,
All right.
Rules of the Game is fine. We can put Paths of Glory.
No,
I'm-
I want to watch Paths of Glory. Let's watch Paths of Glory because you don't have to read it. It is black and white, but it's Kirk Douglas, it's Adolphe Menjou, and it's Stanley Kubrick directed it. And
Oh,
it really is a brilliant movie.
and what's it called again?
Paths of Glory.
Paths of Glory.
Paths of Glory about World War One, about a battle in World War One, where one of the stupidest wars ever fought and one of the stupidest battles ever fought, where a bunch of men were sent out. By the elites.
Assassination of the Grand Duke started
Huh?
that war. The assassination of the Grand Duke started that.
That's true. That's true. The Grand Duke, what was his
Everybody
name?
could've just
Joseph,
said-
right?
Ferdinand. Yeah.
Ferdinand, yeah.
Archduke Ferdinand. That's right. That's
Archduke, an Archduke.
Is that
Right.
more
I
or
think
less
it's a
than duke?
higher Duke, right? Like the Archbishop,
Or is it
is
like
a higher bishop.
no? Because vice president is that like Latin for
No,
vice?
but this is Arch. Arch is higher. Archangels.
Okay. well,
Arch. it's higher than a Duke. It's a top. It's the top Duke.
That would be
Okay.
the pinnacle Duke.
Um,
Pin Duke.
William, let's have that be your research, and you can bring that. Colonel,
About the
you can give us.
Archduke?
You can do 15 minutes on the
Okay.
difference between an Archduke and a Duke. But remember, you
Okay.
have to apply it to Austrian culture.
Okay.
It's the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll
we'll
do
open with that when we do it in 2
We'll
weeks.
do that. We'll open with my little spiel on the difference between a Duke and Archduke in
Right.
Austria.
And
feel
how it related. Let's just add in a little historical reference. How it related to the beginning of
Of
World
World
War
War
One.
Nope.
Will do.
Archduke is less.
What?
It goes
Hey,
Grand Duke,
hey,
Oh, Grand Duke.
Hey,
Prince, and
Tom,
Duke.
this is William's assignment.
This is William's assignment. Don't steal William's thunder. I mean, William doesn't have much
I
in life.
couldn't wait for the
Listen,
wrong
it should
answer.
have been the Grand Duke. That would start a world war. If it's an Archduke, yeah, just a skirmish.
Yeah, that's a
maybe.
territory ruled by an Archduke or Archduchess.
Okay.
And I
next
want to
week.
know, William, I want to know the name of the young fellow who shot him.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I know that guy.
So I think it would
Arnold
be
Schwarzenegger's grandfather, I
He was in
believe.
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo.
Molly, you were going to say?
I was just gonna say I think it would be fun in the future to do some movies that find some somehow that like we haven't watched.
Wait,
You know what
say
I
that
mean?
again.
If we could find some movies somehow that we haven't watched,
Reload.
I think.
Well,
it'd
you
be fun.
haven't watched. I mean, what do you mean? Because we haven't.
No.
Mark's watched every movie.
Mark is an actor.
I've seen all. Oh, that I haven't watched.
Seen them
He
all.
is Hollywood.
We can't
Well, I
find one
watched.
that you
I
haven't
watched
seen.
Cactus Jack. We did Cactus Jack. I was quite.
That was
thrilled.
one he
true.
hadn't seen.
Yeah, if you can think of one that I haven't watched, haven't seen. Well, True Romance I'd seen and discarded.
Have y'all seen The Kite Runner?
I never. Yes, I have.
You
I
never
have.
saw it?
I
You
saw
had-
it.
Wasn't that a great movie?
It's a good movie. Really
And you
good.
did
movie.
have to read, but then part of it you didn't.
Right. Right.
Have y'all seen The Kite Runner?
No.
Well, we should put that on the list, Mark, for later, some other time.
Okay. Yeah,
But
we
that's
can
a
watch the
great
Kite Runner.
movie.
Let's
Dude,
watch
Where's
Paths of
My
Glory because I
Car?
think it would be good to come.
He wants
would
to
be
see
good-
Dude, Where's My
Yeah.
Car in French.
No, I'm just talking about for future episodes. I'm
Yeah.
You've seen Dude, Where's My Car?
Look, after Weekend at
Is
Bernie's,
that Paul? Is that Paulie? What's his name? Paulie. Who's that guy?
No, that
Pauly
was
Shore?
the guy who played Kelso,
yeah,
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher, and Sean.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a dumb like stoner movie.
And there was two of them actually. There's Dude, Where's My Car too.
And it's better than a.
It's in the same vein of the Harold and Kumar movies.
Yeah.
You know.
All right,
There's a
so
second
wait,
Harold and
let's talk
Kumar.
about so the movie that we've decided on are Paths of Glory.
Yes.
That's
that
the
correct?
movie we're going to watch. Paths of Glory, directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas.
So we will watch that one next.
Okay.
All right.
All
And,
right.
yeah.
All right then.
All right,
All right.
Mark. Thank you
Well,
for your
thank
time.
you.
time.
Nice
Thank you
seeing
for
you.
your
Nice
time.
working with you. Nice doing business with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.